Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanzom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 14th of September. Indian Parliament begins monsoon session amid coronavirus pandemic. Pakistan's opposition demands government must quit over motorway gang rape incident. And Doha talks with Taliban make progress at first meeting, say Afghan government negotiators. And now for all the details. The monsoon session of Indian Parliament began on Monday amid unprecedented safety measures for coronavirus. The India-China border row, plunge in GDP growth, nose-diving economy and migrant crisis are some of the key issues that are likely to dominate the session, which will continue for the next 18 days.
The monsoon session of Indian Parliament began in capital New Delhi on Monday while paying special attention to COVID-19 protocols. On the opening day of the first Parliament session being held amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his traditional message ahead of the session said, "Until there is vaccine for coronavirus, there should be no laxity." He also spoke about tensions with China on their disputed Himalayan border and upcoming harsh winter conditions. Tensions between India and China erupted in June into a frontier clash. The border row renewed last week, but the South Asian giants later agreed to de-escalate their tensions following a high-level diplomatic meeting in Moscow.
पूरा सदन एक स्वर से देश के वीर जवानों के पीछे खड़ा है। ये बहुत ही मजबूत संदेश भी ये सदन देगा, सभी माननीय सदस्य देंगे, ऐसा मेरा पूरा विश्वास है।
The India-China border row, plunge in GDP growth, nose-diving economy and migrant crisis are some of the key issues that are likely to dominate the 18-day monsoon session of the Parliament. The government has also listed 23 new legislations for consideration and passage, including 11 bills replacing ordinances issued since March, when Parliament was adjourned indefinitely in view of the coronavirus pandemic.
India's Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan on Monday informed the Parliament on COVID-19 situation and said that India has been able to limit its cases and deaths, which is one of the lowest in the world as compared to similarly affected countries. India's coronavirus cases surged to 4.85 million on Monday. India recorded 92,071 new cases of the coronavirus, taking total cases to 4.85 million. With this latest spike, the coronavirus cases across the country stand at 4.8,046,428. Maharashtra continues to be the worst affected state from the infection, with 280,138 active cases. Speaking on the country's fight against coronavirus, Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan on Monday told Lok Sabha, the lower house of the parliament, that the rate of infection has been low in India. He also informed the parliament that India has been able to limit its cases and deaths.
With our endeavour to manage COVID-19 through a whole of government and whole of society approach, India has been able to limit its cases and deaths per million to 3,328 cases per million and 55 deaths per million population respectively, which is one of the lowest in the world as compared to similarly affected countries.
Meanwhile, metro rail services in eastern Kolkata city resumed on Monday after a gap of more than 5 months. The regular services were suspended due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Under the new reservation system, metro services have to book e-passes through an app before they take a ride. This has been done to restrict the number of passengers boarding a train. In capital New Delhi, gyms and yoga institute have been permitted except in containment zones with immediate effect, subject to strict compliance with the standard operating procedure. In news from Pakistan, the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party has called on the ruling Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government must quit over the brutal motorway gang rape case. Protests have continued across the country over the handling of the investigation into the incident.
Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz or PMLN Party General Secretary Ehsan Iqbal called on Sunday that the ruling Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government must quit over the motorway gang rape case, terming it incapable and responsible for the incident. Iqbal said at a press conference, the rulers must go home, while the Lahore city police officer should be replaced for his unbecoming remarks about the victim. Protests have continued across several Pakistani cities over the handling of the investigation into the gang rape of a woman in her early 30s who was driving late at night last week outside the eastern city of Lahore with her 2 children when her vehicle ran out of fuel. She phoned police for help, but before they arrived, 2 men took her and her children out of the vehicle at gunpoint and raped her beside the highway.
What kind of an Islamic Republic is this, where a woman gets gang raped in front of her children in a big metropolitan city of Lahore, and the chief police officer blames her instead and says she shouldn't be out on the road at night, she shouldn't be driving alone, she should have taken this road, not that road, etc., etc. I think it is a shame.
Protesters have called for the sacking of the lead police investigator assigned to the case, Omar Sheikh, who has repeatedly pointed out what he felt were mistakes made by the victim. On Sunday, one of the 2 suspects in the case surrendered before the police, denying involvement, while the other still remains at large. The Punjab provincial government said police teams were conducting raids at different locations to apprehend him.
More on news from Pakistan. Traders in Pakistan's financial capital, Karachi, have said the recent torrential rains have caused them losses worth billions. They demanded the government must provide them relief at such a time as they were already going through a tough situation due to the coronavirus pandemic.
The recent torrential rains that lashed Pakistan's financial capital, Karachi, have dented the traders in the city who were already going through a tough situation due to the coronavirus pandemic. Traders have claimed they have collectively sustained unprecedented losses worth billions as heavy rainfall wreaked havoc and the city's weak infrastructure could not sustain days of downpour, leading to urban flooding which affected almost all business activities. Sharjil Goplani, president of Old City Tajir Ittihad, a traders association, demanded the government must compensate the businessman and bring out relief measures during such a time.
हुकूमत को चाहिए कि या तो टैक्स माफ़ करे 8 से 10 साल का, या इमदाद दे तमाम लोगों को, या फिर कर्ज दे बिलासूदी गैर मुय्यना मुद्दत या लॉन्ग टर्म पीरियड के लिए, ताकि वो दुकानदार अपने पाँव पे खड़ा होकर वो कर्ज भी उतार सके और अपने मामलात भी चला सके.
Locals have said government has completely failed in tackling the situation and many areas still remain flooded since water has not been drained out. Experts believe in a city as divided and administratively broken as Karachi, cleaning up the debris and rebuilding will be easier said than done.
In news from Afghanistan, the peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban that started in Doha on September 12 have made some progress, said the participants of the crucial meeting. The talks started after both warring sides successfully completed a long-awaited prisoner exchange arrangement. There is no timeline on the discussions.
Participants in the peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban that started in Qatar's Doha on September 12 have made some progress. During the Sunday contact group session, Ahmad Nader Naderi, a member of the government's negotiating team, said. Naderi, taking to Twitter on Sunday, said the first meeting between the contact groups of the 2 negotiating teams took place today. In this meeting, code of conduct between 2 sides, schedules of upcoming meetings and relevant issues were discussed and progress was made. Meanwhile, Abdullah Abdullah, the chairman of Afghanistan's High Council for National Reconciliation, said that the peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban will be lengthy, but the 2 sides are aware of the Afghan people's desire to end violence as soon as possible. The Doha peace talks started on September 12 after both sides successfully completed a long-awaited prisoner exchange arrangement. There is no timeline on the discussions, which are the first direct talks between the two warring sides.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Landslide triggered by torrential rain swept through two villages in Nepal on Sunday, killing more than 10 people. Rescue efforts were underway on Monday to search for over dozens of villagers feared to be trapped under soil and debris and extricate the bodies.
Landslides triggered by torrential rain swept through two villages in Nepal on Sunday, killing more than 10 people. More than 20 went missing when a landslide struck three human settlements, Bikarka, Nagpuje and Dandagaon in Sindulpal Chowk district, 100 km east of capital Kathmandu. The massive landslides erupted from a fragile landmass weakened by the 2015 earthquake and its powerful aftershocks and swept away the human settlements. The area had been witnessing incessant rainfall since Saturday evening. Rescue efforts were underway on Monday to search for over dozens of villagers feared to be trapped under soil and debris and extricate the bodies. Landslides commonly occur in mountainous regions of Nepal during the annual monsoon rains. The latest fatalities took the death toll from landslides and flash floods in the June-September monsoon season to 314, severely hampering the country's COVID-19 response as cases continue to rise.
Used by late King Birendra and members of Nepal's royal family, an aircraft has increased excitement among people as it made its way to Narayan Hiti Palace Museum in Kathmandu. Nepal Army has stowed the aircraft grounded since 2 years.
The aircraft, which was once used by Nepal's late King Birendra and members of the royal family, has increased excitement among the public as it makes its way to Narayan Hiti Palace Museum in Kathmandu. The Nepal Army had towed the aircraft grounded for 2 years to take it to Badam Maidan, where it will be kept in an exhibition for visitors. As it was left on the sideways entrance of the museum, several passers-by stopped and took selfies and photos of the aircraft.
यो चाहिँ हाम्रो वीरेन्द्र राजाको प्लेन हैन वीरेन्द्र राजाले चाहिँ ल्याउनु भयो यो चाहिँ हामीले नदेखेको कुरा ऐतिहासिक हैन इतिहास भइसकेको कुरा देख्न पाउँदा चाहिँ एकदम रमाइलो लागिरहेछ खुसी लागिरहेछ.
Though the aircraft is yet to enter the museum, a sense of excitement has already spread among the public. The Nepal Army towed the aircraft from September 12 to the other gate of the museum upon receiving permission from the Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation and Tribhuvan International Airport.
After tourist activity dropped significantly because of coronavirus lockdown, endangered red crab species were seen reclaiming their existence in eastern India. Thousands thronged the beaches, which turned red as they came out of their holes, which resembled a striking scene pattern in the tidal mud. Endangered red crab species, whose population has declined by about 40% in the last 15 years, reclaimed their existence in eastern India as they throng beaches in thousands after tourist activity dropped significantly because of coronavirus lockdown. The otherwise trash-filled beach in eastern East Midnapur district's Tajpur area was barren and clean due to a drop in pollution at the seashore during the lockdown, thus providing a favourable condition for their survival. According to zoologist Gautam Ghosh, these are terrestrial common sour crab found in the tropical and subtropical regions near the sandy beaches and play a vital role in nutrient cycling in the coastal ecosystem.
These are terrestrial common shore crab of tropical and subtropical occurrence in the sandy beaches, and they live in the deep burrows in the intertidal zone. They are generally scavengers, scavenging primarily on carrion and debris, thus play a vital role in the nutrient cycling in the coastal ecosystem.
Concerns are growing worldwide about pollution on beaches, especially plastic pollution in oceans, where nearly 50% of single-use plastic products end up killing marine life and entering the human food chain, studies have shown. Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.